Mission 2, Freight Exchange. A steel train has been loaded, prepared, and needs hauling to the exchange yard north of Hagen. With that complete, we have another train, this time packed with timber, waiting for you. So, hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Dovetail Games Train Sim World Ruhr-Sieg Nord. So today we'll be taking the DBBR 185.2, and from the sounds of things, taking 2 sets of freight out of the Hagen freight yard. So we'll start this train and get ourselves ready to go for today. So push and hold 5 seconds to turn on the battery, sit in the driver's seat, and let's get everything going. So reverse switch goes to neutral to charge the brakes, which on this train the panel is this on the right one. There you go, so once the red dial hits the 6, the brakes will then be charged. There we go, so now get a notification shortly. Let's test the brakes, so master switch goes to forwards, and then the train brake goes into full service. Then let's reduce it down to 1B. And start up locomotive, so pantographs up, and main circuit breaker to closed. And there we go, can now activate the lights and get ourselves ready to go. Headlights to bright. Passenger, nope, another freight train to our left. Release parking brake, that's the switch on the back here. And there we go, depart when ready, so I won't need that anymore. Brakes now go to released, and let's increase our throttle. So you must remember that the 185.2 does have fairly fast acceleration, it's being the Montreal of the DLC, but otherwise it's very easy to handle, and of course it does have the AFB switch as well. So if I wanted to, when the train was stationary, released with neutral power, I could then set the AFB to the speed limit and leave the throttle at max. The train would never go past it, no matter what the AFB setting is, so that can now go up to 40. But the red signal only 400 meters away, probably best not to go that fast. 25 should do me for today. In fact, in the fog, I can see the trailers, so no need to go too fast to be fair. Otherwise, yes, back in the Ruhr-Sieg Nord line today, and taking the DBBR 185.2. Right, so what I will do is actually turn off AFB and manually control the throttle for this short bit. Probably something I should have done in the first place. It's not too bad. 22 kilometers per hour. Nice and slowly, just cruise into the stop point here. Full service and halt. As train not exact for you Dovetail Games, do I need to move it ever so slightly more forwards so that I can then stop appropriately in the stop zone here. Come on. Come on, surely. Let's go forward with this mark a little bit. Hopefully that will then get the train ready to stop in an appropriate position for it. There we go. Again, I love the exact nature of this game where you need to be so precise, or in this case slightly overrun it for it to work. But hey, I'm sure that's something Dovetail Games will soon sort out, because it's something I have definitely brought up with them in the past. Anyways, requested to pass the signal danger, which means nice and slowly. In fact, it's probably better to use AFB for this one. 5 kilometers per hour, 10 kilometers even. Let's try and get this train right up against the cars ahead of us. Don't need to go any faster than this. In fact, I need to stop just before it so I can connect it manually, because I believe on this train, yeah, it's a manual coupler. Yeah, there's the passenger train from earlier on the older 146. And yeah, like I said, an R185, so 2 very different trains, but this one I think is the Actually, I'm going to say the other one's the more fun to drive personally, but I do like them both. I do like them both. Right, so it's a little early. 5 kilometers. I kind of want to come up right against it. Barely making contact. Right, is that close enough? It should be. There you go. Couple trains together. And shuts down the cab. So go back up here. Set you to neutral. Sorry, set you to off, sorry. So you can go to the back of the train, and then this needs to set to off position. To release even. And you can go off. Alright, head back to the other side of the train. Unfortunately, can't go through the engine / battery room in this one. You will need to go out via the outside of the train. Open doors, step inside, sit down and get this one ready to go. So lights bright, turn the lights on, brakes to full service, and my switch to forwards. Brakes to 1B. You can hear the motor in the back turning around, generators changing up. And then once we are ready to go, we are clear to depart. So it looks like we'll have a long distance journey ahead of us. And there we go, 9.2 kilometers to Hagen. Although the red signal ahead of us, something I may need to be not concerned with, but just need to be wary of when I do move. The gate is now green. That is perfect. So in fact, I will now use the AFB. There we go. So that's to track speed of 40. And with AFB, basically, I don't quite know what it stands for. It's basically like an autopilot mode, in which you can then shoot. That's not what I wanted at all. Basically, AFB, if you can set it up correctly, I know the key commands in this game is a little bit off. Matt Hilson is looking to changing that shortly. Basically, it acts as an autopilot mode, so if I set it to 40 kilometers an hour, the train will automatically go to 40 kilometers per hour, and then use the brakes and the throttle to adjust it, depending on if it's going too fast or too slow. So if I'm going downhill, but set it to 40, then the brakes will activate to keep it at 40. If I'm going uphill and the train is on neutral throttle, it will then put power up on the train to bring up to 40. It's a very smart system, one that the German rail system have been using for years, and I do like it because it means I can now just sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. 8 kilometers to Hagen. Well, we'll be dropping off the steel, I think it was. The pantographs move with the overhead cables, and the very nice details you get with Train Sim World. And overall, I do like this game. It gets its criticism, but I've never had a major issue with Train Sim World. It looks great, and fair enough, people say the trains don't feel right, their dynamics are way off, but I've never driven a train in my life, so to be fair, I don't actually have anything to compare it with. But at the end of the day, it's a fun little game this. I ain't complaining. I've had enough enjoyment out of Train Sim World. So taking the points now up to the main line, where the speed I believe will then increase, or the majority if not the remainder of this journey. So we're now going from the 40 km per hour siding speeds to the main line. It's like 100 km an hour or even 80 at this point. Of course, the track slightly tilts as well, because it's normally a high-speed turn. There, go up to only 60 at this point. There we go, that's what we're looking for. 100 kilometers per hour. So train will now increase the throttle to meet up with that. Or even match up with that, I should be saying. That is a passenger service. In the fog it's a bit difficult to tell, but once you do go up close to it you can tell basically from the driver locomotive. the modern trains are the freight trains, the older trains are the passenger ones. I'm not quite sure why it's like that in Germany, because normally, like in the UK especially, you'd have the more modern trains on the normal routes, and there's more like the old retired stock that'll then go on the freight routes and all the lesser known stuff. I mean, the Deltic, the 33, am I getting that right? In the UK at least, yeah, starts off life as a passenger diesel locomotive, although as it got replaced and renewed, it kind of got downgraded, I guess, as such, into a freight locomotive, where it then works out for the rest of its working life, then got retired, and a couple of years ago got brought back into action again, because the UK ran out of freight trains, in short, and so they had to use some of the old heritage locomotives, just so there was enough freight going around the UK. 2012 was it when they brought back the Deltic for one summer only. They brought like 3 or 4 of them, just go up and down the line dragging freights in the UK. Anyway, it's 5.8 kilometers to Hagen as we continue our now high-speed freights journey through the German cities. Ruhr-Sieg again, very nice DLC this, I do like it. So when it comes to the missions in Train Sim World's DLC, they are about 45 minutes to an hour in length, so not the shortest routes in the world, but they're also not the longest, which means as we do more of these missions each week, every Monday, yeah, I should get some a fair few decent videos out of it. And like I said, I am definitely quite excited to be doing this line, the Ruhr-Sieg Nord, and then once this is done, it's just a case of sitting down and waiting for Dovetail to announce their newest releases. I mean, they did mention back in the first live stream that they have 3 routes in development right now, although they haven't got any information out as to which routes they will be. That, I will be honest, almost had me frightened for a second there. It looks like on the curve it was on our track, but fortunately it wasn't. Again, always trust German engineering. It works 90% of the time, every time. So, yeah, German engineering, always at its best. And then possibly we'll see in the future another foreign route. The one, right, Dovetail Games wants to do a route outside of Germany, the UK and America. They want to, they've said it so many times they will. The problem is with them is that they don't have the assets for it, and that is where they keep, I guess, like, lacking in that aspect so far, because they don't have enough assets for, so like Australia or India or somewhere in Africa. They don't have enough to build a route on. So while I'd like to say one of the next 3 routes will be a different country, it's impossible for me or anyone to say at this point in time. Only Dovetail Games knows what they're building at the moment, so it's a case of just waiting to see what will happen in the next coming weeks. Right, okay, I can see what's going on here. So basically, what happens now is I need to slow this train down. Basically, yeah, going way too fast at this point here. But this part of track here deviates onto a different path. So what happens is the freight trains on the right-hand tracks now need to move to the left-hand side for the freight crossover. And what this track here does is it kind of gives us a deviation off the main line and up and over the other tracks on a bridge. So, ooh, hang on, is that not going to work? Seriously? Nope. What have I done here by accident? Where are we going now? There we go. Right, so what this track here does, it kind of deviates off the main line goes up and over and the other side of the main line for the freight depot here at Hagen. So for those who live in London, the closest I can think of is, say, on the central line coming into White City, where you have the branch going to Ealing Broadway, and you've got the branch heading to the Rice Lips. Basically, and there's that track there, that's a road. Basically, what happens is the track, because at White City, the Shepherd's Bush used to be a terminus station. Then there was like a loop of track which goes inside the tunnel back into the other platform, Shepherd's Bush, with trains turning around. But what happened was, then they extended the line out and went to White City, sorry. And then the track at White City was on the wrong way, so trains westbound now are on the right hand side, trains eastbound on the right hand side, trains westbound on the left hand side, because the tunnel switched them around. So just outside of White City to the west, there's a crossover where trains go over and under each other to switch around, while then two branches divert to the side into Ealing Broadway. That's the worst explanation I've ever given in my life, but it's as good as I'm going to get at this point. Basically, the tracks switch over so that the trains can go on the right side of the they need to be for any like depots and sidings and whatnot. Yay, learning! So right, we'll continue our journey now that we have got the train back down to a much lower speed, albeit having to stop and go on that siding a bit too fast. But for the most part, we should be alright, at least in terms of the main train control. There goes. So, as I mentioned earlier, the AFB, how if we're going a downhill stretch track, it will slow you down. If you look at the amps, it is currently in the negatives, because at this point we are at 50 miles per hour, at least 49 kilometers per hour. And track speed here is at 50, and so in case we're there for moments we were going downhill, the tracks needed to adjust, the train needs to adjust the throttle, in this case the braking, just so that the train was still at 50 miles per hour, not going too fast. Although my route knowledge meant that I was a little too late to spot the actual siding in the first place too, and way too fast on that. Another freight train to our left there. Alright, so this door, oh, it does get locked, but you can just unlock it. Fair enough. Obviously it's not an electric lock on these doors, it's a manual. Oh yeah, it's one of the little twisty latch locks, not an electric lock, that is fine. So it does mean that I can open those doors if I really wanted to during the middle of service. And of course, windows open as well. The standards of these train simulator routes. But I will say this cab interior is very nicely modelled, at least compared to the other trains that we've had in this DLC. I mean, compared to the American one, the ACS 64, I much prefer this train design. Much more standard, much more in front of you. The ACS was just kind of American-fied German train. And AFB, of course, the most useful thing in the world. I love AFB. And it's something that I will be continuing to use in this route, and fingers crossed if there's any other routes in the future that will include it, definitely have use of those as well. The only train without it is the Drawyah card, the Doppelstockwagen 767, forget the rest of the name of that one, but yes, that's the only train in this route that does not have an active AFB system, as it did not have one in standard, being just a remote control for the actual motor car at the back. Which is the main reason why, last week, I just started speeding like crazy out of the depot. Not the most fun experience in the world, but sadly one that we all now have to live with. Alright, so 2 kilometers to Hagen now that we are at the top of the loop, and heading south again. And then once we are here, I believe it was a case where again we decouple the train with us right now, and then go to the logs at some other parts of the yard. Not sure if we switch trains or just what was that there? Alright, it's just another side completely. Don't know if we switch trains or if we use this one again and change track, but that will again find out once we do reach Hagen 188. That'll be I'm not sure if that's track 188 or like depot waiting point 188, but that does mean I do need to slow down shortly for the points that we will soon be having to navigate around. So if I bring this back down, yeah, they go down to 40, that will go down to 30. Electric brake, please. Ooh, lag spike, there we go. Electric brakes. Slow this train down. Here we go, a little bit fast, but not too fast. That train will derail in the real world. 500 meters to a red light, so I will now put the brakes on. AFB comes off, throttle off. Let's just manually control the brakes now at this point for the train. A little bit of throttle, so it's going a bit short. Don't tell me that's enough for Train Sim World. No, I'm sorry, but I'm going to go and move forward myself a bit to actually turn off the AFB, since that's why we're not moving. Right, let's get the train off of the points here, and then decouple the train. Red signal's in 300 meters. That we'll be using to determine where we have to stop, or at least where we were meant to. Again, at the start of the video, I commented on how I like Dovetail games is need for accuracy. In this case, it's a little bit off. My mistake for stopping by using too much braking, but surely I shouldn't have counted for anything. Right, so red signal is in 200 meters. I should get a view of that very shortly. Yes, I can see him now. So we will start to slow the train down for decoupling. And I'll assume the wagons on the right will be our ones for taking back with me. There you go, full braking. That should be far enough now for the freight train. Yep, that is perfect. So let's go decouple this. And now let's go change tracks. I'm going to return to locomotive. You see ourselves sitting down here with not the uniform I was expecting. I was expecting more of a high-vis jacket as opposed to passenger train operator for this bit, but okay. And that signal minute, we're ready to go, which means proceed at restricted speed. And let's go nice and slowly out of here. No need for AFB. We can do this one manually. In fact, let's release the brakes first before we do go. There you go. No more than 10 kilometers per hour when we do leave. 10 miles per hour in the UK, 10 kilometers in the Germans and rest of the world. Right, okay, the wagons are on a completely separate bit of track here, so it's just straight ahead through a red signal, through a second red signal. I'll make sure I alert the signalman for that. Down to 10 kilometers per hour, not 15. Put some throttle in, just for the safety-ness of it. Denied no route available. Right, that's never a good sign. Bearing in mind I need to actually go and connect to those cars. So if there's no route available, then I don't know how I'm going to get past that red signal in the middle of that. I could be going a little bit faster than this, but just for the safety aspects of it, shouldn't be going any more than 10 in the yards, especially when going past the red signal. I mean, you do need to be quite careful in this stretch of track. We'll be coupling with, we're rushing off to the left here. It will be the set of cars there, just right in the middle of us right now. That's the stock we'll be taking, I believe. Got a few passenger trains, stations to our right here. Stick our head out the window and have a look at them. Again, it says denied no routes available, but because I've already talked to signalman at the previous set of red lights, will this allow me to pass it at this one as well, or not? I mean, next red signal's not for another 600 meters, so I assume it's the one down here. But again, better to be safe than sorry, so request it one more time. Denied no route available, but yeah, looking at the distance to the next red signal, I'm quite sure that these ones are both A, facing the other way around, and B, a bit closer than 600 meters away. Oh yes, and of course we've got proper blinds in these trains as well. Right, so in a moment we'll bring the train to a halt, and then manually couple with the logs ahead of us. So yeah, this is a log shipment, going back to the depot we started off at. And there'll be another 20-minute journey back up to where we started, and then that will bring us to an end of today's routing. So in a moment we'll start using the brakes, and then we'll couple these trains together. That was a little bit fast for my liking, because obviously these brakes didn't operate properly, so I will quickly move back a bit. The last thing I want is for us to have merged with the train. I'll try again, but slower this time. Brakes released, and nice and slowly couple with the train. Because I know the physics in this game, while they do work quite nicely with coupling, there are the odd cases where the buffers will go through each other and merge with one another. So that is what I'm trying to avoid right now. And so try that again, a lot slower. And stop it about. There we go. Stop it now. Get a little more. There we go. That'll do me. Head downstairs. Okay, climb down the steps. And manual feet trains together. For some reason I can actually get back into my train now. That is worrying. I can open the doors, but I don't know why I can't get back inside. Let me decouple this quickly. Oh, for crying out loud, Dovetail games. Is this train like moving ever so slightly to the point that I can't actually get back inside, or what seems to be the issue with this one, which is rather annoying to say the least if I can't get back inside my own locomotive. I mean, these aren't connected now, and when they are, there's enough gap between them. Just interact with the doors. There's no way for me to step back onto the train. Right, bear with me 2 seconds. I'm going to consult Matt Peddleson for this one. Right, okay, so if you click Control 0 on the keyboard, it just defaults you back into train seats. So hopefully now we should be able to control our train. There we go. Right, cheers for that, Peddleson. Much appreciated. So, sets the master switch to off, brakes to release, lights come off, not reduced. There's that one, there we go. Head to the other cab. Because again, we can't go through the middle there. And now, we should be cleared to drive the return leg. So, brakes, we can release. Sorry, set the train to full service, sorry. Let train motors switch over. My freight service there, now coming in as well. Brakes go to 1B. And we are now ready to depart. So, AFB comes on.
AFB.
40 kilometers per hour, release that. Circuit breaker open. Throttle up. Now, generator is still turning on, let's just switch that around. And there we go. Train will now start moving slowly but surely, since we are carrying the full load of logs this time. And there you go, so exposed containers this time. Just standard logs with massive rubber bands going around the side of them. Yeah, they're obviously just satchels, keeping them in, strapped up. So carrying a load of 20 of these. And yeah, I'm not going very fast right now. Let me just reset the throttle quickly, just in case the AFB is messed up. Yes, it has. There we go, that's what I wanted. 40 kilometers per hour, we are now accelerating to Bol 305. Stop at location, 3.7 kilometers away. Although that, I believe, is not taken into account. Oh no, it has taken into account hasn't taken into account the curves. That's as the crow flies. It's a bit longer than that. More like 5 kilometers on the way around, I'd say. That on the left, I believe, is our load just dropped off here a couple of moments ago. Yep, that's the one. So that was the steel, it was just steel, it said on the description there, that we dropped off in Hagen. So back to Bol, which actually is a different depot to where we started. And then that one goes towards different parts of Germany. Also taking a very different track as well, coming in through the very far side this time. Don't know if we take those tracks, no we don't. We will soon start pushing back in towards the main line. But yeah, very different exit as with the siding supposed to be going by the main line. And of course we'll be going on the crossover bit, which will then take us back onto the left hand side and out of the depot. Go. We are now at the back end of the depot, sorry, the sidings, or even the freight yard I should be calling this, out of the back end of the freight yard, and now making our way back to the main depot. So about 15 minutes of driving this, I'd say, maybe a bit less than that. Yeah, a lot less than that actually, because it's just going to run that curve, and then it will be short journey there, stop the train, and then end the service for today. Cool, so we're now off of the freight yard, and the speed limits, I'm expecting that to shortly increase again. And then must remember that we've also got the points here as well, which you need to slow down for. So you never go back to the main line again, do we? We stick on the siding the entire loop. Yeah, it's just a straight piece of track here. And after these points here, looks So because when the speed limit will increase to about 60, it even does it now. So let's increase the speed up to 60. So 2.5 kilometers as the crow flies to my immediate right. In fact, if I went there, could we have full scenery for the entire length of the track? No, we don't know because the invisible wall here stops us. Yeah, it's just freehand, so we can go this way. So unfortunately we can't go this way, see if you have like full scenery between us and the freight yard. I mean, follow this road. Is this the same road as the other side as well? Would be interesting to know. Nah, let's go find a bridge and just look down the nets. Yeah, very nice indeed. I do like this route, as I keep on saying every single time I use it. It's a very nice one to ride on. I've got no real issues with it. So the crossover now starts. Check speed limit has increased. No, it hasn't. So the crossover starts here. The mainline track will start to raise. In fact, am I even looking at the right bit? Yeah, I am. The main line will rise a bit. We come off to the sides, and then we eventually then go up and over the other tracks. So if I go stand here on the sides, then our train should be visible very momentarily. Be on the middle tracks. There you can see in the distance now coming in. Switch to the right, so then go into the fog in distance and out of view for us when the train does make it to the camera. There we go. Now it's a view, also on a slight curve as well. Right, so we're now branching away from the main line and taking our own loop to the actual freight. So at this point, we now need to be on the right hand side, but because we're on the left right now, we then need to go up and over. Try and spot the tracks underneath us when we do go over it. If you want an example of this in real life, think the central line. Again, worst explanation I've ever done on this channel, and I'm the person who has to review flight simulator products for many developers, so to completely mess up any simple description is generally not a good thing on my part. Doesn't end well for me, let me tell you that for a fact. Anyways, here should be the tracks underneath. No, it's a road. That's exactly the same as last time. The track should be visible to us in the next crossover. Yes, it is. Here you go. Now the mainline tracks will then be below us. And then passenger trains will be on the lower track here. That's not what I wanted. I was trying to sit on the other hand seat there. That's a bit late for that now. And then in a moment you'll then be whoops. What happened there? Something's acting on the map. It's trying to move it up, but I'm not quite sure what exactly. Joystick or anything. Oh yeah, it was a joystick. Everything's going wrong. Oh no, mess up again. I don't know. I really don't know. Something's being a bit funny right now. If I leave the joystick alone, hopefully it won't go and destroy everything on me. So 900 meters till we stop at Ruhr 305. So I'll use this as an opportunity to slow down to 20 kilometers per hour. In a moment we'll then see the ground markings as we do enter the stop point. I can turn them off as well. I mean, I did initially say back on the Great Western Railway DLC that I did not like them on the grounds. They're kind of distracting. But for whatever reason, I've just kind of kept them because they now just are like a part of Train Sim World. And you can turn them off, no problem. I probably will do at some point, but for some reason I've just not done it yet. Either way, we are now entering the siding here. Stop in 300 meters, 600 meters to the red signal, so we've got plenty of time to stop, it's no problem. You can hear the battery train. Bit of a hum as it's generating enough power to keep the train going, but not too much power that it's going to excess and potentially blow out the engine. But with these German trains, as you kind of expect, there's no real like major issues with them or anything. They're simple to drive, rather fun, and get you where you need to go. So I'll turn up the AFB and minimise the throttle now, and very slowly increase the braking. That'll do. Train halts, objective complete, and that should be that. There you go, that's it for the shift. Shut down the locomotive and climb down to complete this duty. So that is throttle off, train must switch off, braking's at full service, and parking brake behind me goes on. Disembark. Let's go find out where I need to go now. So it is ahead of me. Gosh, a bit of a walk, isn't it? 200 meters. Probably could have walked the train down a bit further. I'm going to go a lot slower than 20 kilometers per hour, which is what I was entering the yard at. And you'll go around this train to my right here. And either find like a gate, a locomotive, or just some vehicle I can stand by. Or just a random fence. There's no other trains operating the area. Actually, yeah, there is a gap in the fence here, and there is a warehouse or something for me to walk towards. So that will be happening off camera, essentially. In fact, I actually stand inside the bush, which is not creepy in any way. Anyways, Hohenlimburg to Hagen Freight Yard. Here's our scoring for today. And yeah, other than the fact that we couldn't get into our train momentarily, that wasn't too bad of a journey. So 25.25 kilometers driven, 367 meters walked in about 36 minutes. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did, do subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.